Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Richard Chang's Leicester Square Theatre Podcast. My guest this week is Alex Horne. That's worth hanging around for. Please remember, you can buy Richard Chang's emergency questions, 1001 emergency questions to get all your conversations. You can turn awkward silences into awkward conversations with 1001 questions. Most of them are very different than the ones you may have read in previous versions of this book. It's the perfect Christmas gift. And please support our sponsor for this series, which is Beer 52, who deliver craft beers to your home. And we have a fantastic offer for you. If you're a new customer, go to beer52.com/RHLSTP. Some of the cool kids are calling it Leicester. And you can get 8 free craft beers for £2.95. Then you will be signed up, and if you want to stay with them, you'll get 8 craft beers a month for £24. If you just want your free ones, you can leave at any time. Ring them up. You can email them if you can't get through, or direct message them on Twitter. There's lots of ways out. I'm not trying to get you out, but you can get out. That's what I'm saying. You're not stuck in there. Thank you very much to the Beer 52 guys. They're good fun, and they don't mind me being rude about them, and they give me free beer. And that's why I like them. So, anyway, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Rich Chang's Leicester Square Theatre Podcast. So is it a play on B-52? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leicester Square Theatre. Please welcome a man who had a noise that he did with his friends at school. It was, Please welcome Richard Herring. Yo, we're back. Hello, welcome to Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre Podcast. I was hanging around with Shampoo the other day. You may remember the early 1990s girl group. I'm in trouble. Someone's come along and it's burst my bubble. Oh, they were nice. And they still are. They call it Leicester. I like them. I miss them. They were big in Japan, I think, weren't they? Was that right? You seem to know a lot about the Shampoo. You're not one of the ladies from Shampoo. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? It would be amazing if it was me, Rich. Here I am. My shampoo millions. I'll have a chat with you. What's your name? Emma. And what do you do for a living, Emma?
School librarian.
You're a school librarian. You said that like I should know. Have I asked you before? It's possible. You're a school librarian. That's good. Do lots of kids still come into the library and just look up rude? No, well, wait until I finish the. And just look up rude words in the dictionary. Yeah, is that what they mean?
Highlight them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. They highlight them. We never had highlighters in our day. Had to draw a cock next to them. That's all we could. It was good. Is it a rewarding job passing on knowledge to children? Frustrating. Why? Because they don't like books. Yeah, boring, aren't they? They're boring. Do you want a copy of emergency questions to put in the? Do you want to get sacked? I've got a lot of copies of the old emergency questions books that we're not allowed to sell anymore. Like, probably 5,000 copies of that. Would you like to just fill the library with that? They come and go, yeah, what do you mean? It's always just been 2 books of questions. Let's do it. It'll be a funny stunt. So you're welcome. You're welcome to the show. I'd say it's so rewarding when you find a really big stone and it doesn't look like it is that big. You pick it up. So it's so rewarding. It started as a kind of joke, but it rained the other day, and that's when you find out if you're a dedicated stone clearer or not. Look at those fingernails. That is hard work, mate. That's the man tilling the land. I've got a proper job now. So soon I won't even be coming into this anymore. It's all going to be moving stones around. We'll talk more about it with our next guest. So will you please welcome a man, I hope is back from the toilet. He's probably, I think he is, he's best known as the writer on The Games That Time Forgot, Cricket on Horseback and Other Forgotten Sports. That's why we're here. And to be honest, I'm going to talk to him about cricket on horseback for an hour. So I hope you're strapped in. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Alex Horne! literally got a horse on you. Did you just... Because you weren't wearing that when I was in the dressing room. Did you hear me say that and then I'll go and put my horse
Went and bought a horse shirt.
Yeah.
We're going to sit?
Yeah, sit down. Well, you can stand. You know, Brian Blessed chose to stand for much of the...
We're quite
podcast.
different.
Well, you both got a beard.
That can't be it. Both got legs.
That's true.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
Why? No, I'm fine. The writer on that.
Yeah.
Do you know what that was?
What?
The thing you introduced me.
I don't really know. I just got up the IMDb where Jonathan Ames is in Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Who's Jonathan Ames?
I don't know.
He's very different to me as well. He has good stories, doesn't he? Yeah. I missed the last one because I was in the toilet puking on my own diarrhea. So no, that was I did a documentary about playing cricket on horseback, and there were no writers. So it's weird that I'm classified as the writer.
Yeah. Well, someone has to. I mean, even if you're writing it as you're saying it.
No, that's the whole point of saying it. You don't need to.
You're not writing.
You don't need a writer. Like at the moment, there's no one writing this. Am I?
You're going to be classified as the writer of this.
Am I?
Yeah. Very much so. What other sports apart from cricket? I mean, we all know about cricket.
Very much so.
We all know about cricket on horseback.
Yes.
Which was people playing cricket on horseback.
It happened once in the 19th century, so we recreated that.
Okay.
And I hit a 6 while sat on one of these.
Okay.
And Blofeld commentated. It was really good. So other sports we did.
There's a commentator called Blofeld who actually
not the James Bond,
but his dad was named. That's why Ian Fleming knew his dad.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why Henry Blofeld though is the cricket commentator. That's very good. And what other sports were there in this sports that are forgotten? Because if they're forgotten, how do you know about them?
No, that's not. If things can be forgotten and still other people know about them.
Okay.
Yeah, so
they
were
largely sports that some
largely
people have forgotten, but other people remember. And we've talked to the people who remember about them, and they've filled us in.
Yes. Otherwise, we would never be able to talk about anything that was forgotten. Because no one. Yeah. So they were largely forgotten. Yeah.
Forgotten.
Sports that were largely forgotten.
Largely forgotten, but not entirely forgotten.
I think forgotten was used quite metaphorically in the title. Sports that aren't played anymore.
Yeah. It's no improvisation, my dear Mark Watson, but it's still a good title.
We did something called the quintain.
Okay.
Which is jousting, but without horses.
Oh.
No, I don't know why it's got the quint in it. But
come on, jousting with 5 people at once. That would be fucking awesome. Coming in at 5 different directions.
Oh, we see 5 horses.
Yeah, 5 horses, 5 people.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know where the thing was coming from.
Yeah.
People would definitely die every single time.
Yeah.
Not just every now and again. Like Henry II, I want to say.
Say it.
Okay.
It's your show. That's what you want.
A little bit snapped off.
No one's going to check it.
Someone will check it. Anyone know?
Lovely teamwork. Lovely moment. Can I go?
Put it in Taskmaster, mate. Put it in Taskmaster. So it's... I've got a crazy idea for you. Quintain, it was without horses.
Are you listening to anything?
Was it mainly sports that didn't have horses in them, with horses in them, and sports that did have horses in them without horses in them? Because that is not a show.
Well, it's not a show that was commissioned, recommissioned. There was a game of football with 100 people against 11 people.
Yes, good.
And you can
I'd love that.
That was really good fun. And on YouTube, you can look this up. I think Juventus played against 100 Chinese children recently.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah. Awesome.
The Chinese element is unnecessary in the detail there. But they were, whether they liked it or not.
And the Juventus, you didn't need to say Juventus, you could say
no,
men.
Didn't need to say any of this. Yeah. So we did that. There was, I can't remember, it was
a long time
a long time ago, and I wasn't expecting you to bring it up.
No. Yeah, you're wearing that shirt.
This shirt makes up for my lack of personality. Genuinely, this is what I wear if I'm nervous.
It's a very nice shirt. I like it a lot. So, we're in a Christmas book war.
Okay.
I'll mention your book, which I went out and bought.
It's quite...
Well, actually, I went out to try and buy it. I went to Waterstones Piccadilly. I thought they'll have it. No.
Do they not?
No.
Is that good or bad from my point of view?
I tell you, and I thought, and then I went to W.H. Smith's in Midley in Charing Cross, and they didn't have it, but they only had about 5 books in there.
I think the next bookshop will have it, because otherwise this story will never end.
No, Kinga, who is one of our camera operators, she got it. Foyles didn't have it.
Oh.
Either it's selling really well.
That's a worry, isn't it? It's a worry.
Well, I think it's Waterstones Piccadilly, and to be honest, Waterstones, there's a lot of competition online. Pull your fucking finger out. Have that. I wanted to buy 2 copies of the book.
I would have brought you a book.
I like to get them for free. But if that doesn't happen, I'd like to buy them. Anyway, it's the Taskmaster. The Taskmaster book, very much. This is the Christmas versus emergency questions.
It is, isn't it?
It's very
How much
much.
is your one?
I think it's £12. How much is yours?
£12.
Oh, it's literally.
How many
Which
words?
one's the biggest?
How many words has yours got?
Yours is the biggest.
Thank you.
They're the same height, but yours is slightly wider, which might, if you've got thin bookshelves,
Big if.
This one might stick out your bookshelf. That's what I'm saying. And is 40,000 words approximately mine? Yours isn't that many,
Not a clue. I guess it's, I mean...
To be honest,
we can
they're
work
both...
it out. Should we count I was going to count 1 page's worth and then multiply it. Have we got time?
Yeah.
I'll count out loud if you want.
I've just watched someone trying to work out how many baked beans make up the circumference of the caravan. So this is very similar.
It's about 120 words per page because there's lots of blank space.
Yeah.
And there's 300 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about the same.
About the same.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing between. They're both just a load of stupid guff put in a book that you can read out to your mates.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah. It is a phenomenon, Taskmaster. It's an incredibly enjoyable television programme. You're not expecting me to be complimentary?
No, I was.
Okay. And look surprised. Like you hadn't realised yourself.
Well, phenomenon is too strong a word, I think.
Oh, I think it's quite a game changer. I think because I've talked to Osman a lot, Richard Osman, your main rival in quiz show creation and height.
Yes.
And you're both tall men, but he's taller.
Yeah, and love as well. Did you know this? That we, my wife.
Yeah.
No, not true at all.
Okay.
Nothing there. I have no salacious stories.
But that idea of the same people coming back to in the same show, when he tried to pitch that, we go, no, people won't want to watch a show with the same people and it coming back every week.
Yeah.
So that's a big game changer.
Yeah, although that's just a sitcom, really. Yeah. I mean, that's how we pitched it. We pitched it, said, lots of the channels said, we don't want a panel show where it's the same people each week. And we said, well, you can do that because people will get to know the characters. So that's our argument for that. And but carry on about, the praise.
I can't remember what else I was going to say. But there's been a lot of things that have come out subsequently that I think are similar-ish.
Yes.
One of them that the button, which is you're involved in, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called The Button. Yeah, it's not my idea. I think people think it is sometimes, but it's not. Yeah, that's Taskmaster with normal people, I suppose, with households.
Yeah.
It's lasted much longer than I thought it would, and it's nice that it's taken off.
It started relatively, it's only, 2015 you did the actual first, is that right? Is it
we did it in Edinburgh in 2010.
Yeah, but as a TV
I think it's on telly, it's only been on for 3 years. Yeah, 2015,
You've done like about 10 series of it already, haven't
We've done 7, yeah. But that's because it's on Dave, I suppose. As in, if they've got something that works, they're good at supporting it and putting it on all the time.
Yeah.
And I think their feeling was for something to land, it's got to hit you a lot. They wanted it just to be on all the time, so it exists, I suppose.
Yeah. Look, where'd you get your crazy ideas from for that? How'd you come up with those crazy ideas?
It's a great question. Can I tell you genuinely where I got lots of the ideas for one series, which makes me think I sound cool, but actually makes me sound like an awful person. I had a hot tub for 2 weeks. My wife rented a hot tub for my birthday for 2 weeks. And I sat in the hot tub for 2 weeks and came up with ideas, because you can't have computers or laptops, which is the same thing. Yeah. You can't have computers or laptops in there.
You can't have
They're the two things you can't have in a hot tub. So, so you're just sat there forced to sort of...
Or pen and paper.
No, or pen and paper.
There's no way of recording what you've come up with.
No, I ended up with one idea after 2 weeks of that. No, that was... I tend to go to places like that, like hot tubs or just walks in the woods, where you have no distractions.
Yeah.
And, that's a genuine answer to a non-genuine question.
I always just say I copied them off the goodies. That's my answer to that question. But it's lovely because it's sort of simplistic in lots of ways, isn't it? A lot of those
basic
tasks
stuff.
Kind of build the highest tower out of some boxes.
That's the show.
And
sometimes with your eyes shut.
Yeah. But it creates really great. If you've got funny people doing it, and I think I've seen you saying somewhere if you told them what they were doing beforehand, it would be a terrible show. But again, TV tends to work on the presumption, should we give them all the questions? So
it's another thing we had to get over the line was to persuade the channels that they didn't have to have a script and they didn't have to know what was going to happen. And, I think all I do is write half a joke. I write a man walked into a bar and then I get these better comedians to come in and do the punchline. So all I come up with is, here's your materials.
Well, but I think there's a skill. It's the same as emergency questions. They look like it's just a man looking around the room, seeing a thing, and then writing a question involving that thing, or going on the internet, seeing a thing, and then writing a question about the thing. And it very much is not that.
Well, I think
it's very much about a question expert sitting down and thinking of...
A question expert, you're using that phrase.
Questions that will make people talk about stuff. And I think that... Do you have tasks that you get filmed and don't use? Does some of them not work?
I'm going to ask the question you asked first, and then I'll ask that question.
Okay, cool.
Because otherwise...
What did I ask before that?
You asked me...
Where'd you get your crazy ideas?
No, you
from?
asked me how basic the idea... Are the questions just basic? The tasks are quite basic. Maybe it wasn't a question, it was an observation.
It was an observation.
Because I think that, like your question book... Is that what it's called?
It's more or less.
Yes.
Let's not give each other any more publicity.
Some of the questions in the question book are very basic. Some of them are very clever, I think. And I'd say... With a task, some of them are very basic, like don't blink. And some of them, I think, are reasonably clever. Yeah. But the ones that are funniest tend to be the most basic ones. It's always disappointing. But I put a lot of thought into some of them. Yeah. But the more effort we go into setting up the task, the less well they work. Right. That's our sort of law. If there's too much going into the setup, then the punchline isn't as good. Sure. And your second question...
Yes, about whether you always... film. Do you ever film ones you don't show?
We always film the stuff that we show.
Okay.
But with no.
That's a basic error that sometimes some shows have messed up.
No, it's really important.
Yeah.
For the viewers, I think for the viewers' point of view, it's...
Viewers at home especially.
Exactly, yeah. Because otherwise, either you're describing it later, or they'll never know what happened at all. Okay. So you've got to film it. Okay. You have got to film it.
Okay.
And that's another thing that we had to get across.
Well, I would have gone in and said to the TV people, I don't think we should film this.
I don't think we should film it at all.
Yeah. I think we should have the same people, hear me out.
Same people each week.
Yeah, each week. Yeah.
Don't tell them what's going to happen.
Don't tell them what's going to happen.
Don't film it.
You don't like that? Don't film it.
Don't film it.
And everyone's wearing a sheet.
A sheet?
Yeah.
You struggled for such a long time before getting the word sheet. I was hoping for more.
Okay. Do you ever film something, but then not show?
No, we do. We always film something. Always film it. I thought I'd made that clear. No. So again, we always decide. We as an early decision, we got a director, and he said, it was more him than me actually. He said, we've got to film this stuff. Because of the medium that it's on. Yeah. A lot of the book is not filmed. You'll notice.
Oh, that's right. Maybe that's why I was getting confused.
That one, that's not filmed. That's typed. A lot of these are typed. yeah.
But so do you always write? Do you always have to write down the stuff in the book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. No. You do need to always, at some point, make sure it's first typed and then printed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then distributed through the book.
And have you ever, after filming something, said, let's not show that, we might as well not have filmed it, like Rich said?
Yeah. No, I'd say 98% of the stuff we don't show. It's very labour intensive. So we've been filming for 20 odd years now. So the other way around. I'd say we probably, in a series of 10 episodes, there's about 40 tasks in that show. 35 to 40 tasks, and we probably film about 45.
Right.
There's your factual answer.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Did you like it?
I did. Do you think a good task would be a man lives near a big field that's quite full of stones, and then the contestants each have to try and clear the... I mean, give them a different field, but they're all the same size. They'll have to, and they've all got as many stones. You have to check they've all got the same amount of stones in.
No, that wouldn't work.
And then they'd have to clear the stones out. It would probably take about 500 years.
Yeah. Why did you start with? I know why you started with. It doesn't matter. No, that's an example of not a good.
Okay, because it takes too long.
It takes too long. Yeah, it wouldn't be entertaining. I think also you wouldn't get variety of methods probably.
No.
You'd start. We had one like that, which was similar in a way, which was we gave them each an enormous roll of bubble wrap.
Yes.
And it was pop the bubbles as fast. It's basic Taskmaster stuff. Pop the bubbles as fast as possible. And the little twist was your time starts when you pop your first bubble. So you have as long as you want to plan it. And I was sort of hoping people would take a couple of weeks, like come back with an incinerator one week and say, I'm ready.
Yeah.
But they all started by somebody got a mini cricket steamroller.
Okay.
And
yeah.
somebody else got a van. What did it, I can't remember what the others. Oh, people got knives. But bubble wrap's amazing, and they all started and ended up just having to jump on them for 25 minutes. But even a steamroller doesn't pop all the bubbles. It just pushes the air around.
Wow.
So it'd be like your field. You'd just end up seeing 5 comedians picking up stones.
I would like that. I'd like that show. I'm pitching that show. So you're saying you don't want that, so I can take that.
You can take that, yeah.
And I can do the field...
Field show.
Yeah.
Clear the field show.
Good
Can I be completely honest?
Yeah.
I didn't fully listen to that story when it was told earlier.
Yeah.
But I knew you were referring to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to do with with the story.
No, you did well. You got through it.
Really?
Yeah. So you have done... Well, we'll come back to Taskmaster because I've got lots of questions about Taskmaster.
Okay. You'd be great on it.
Thank you. I would be. A lot of people have said that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
No,
not only the people who make the decision.
Well, the trouble is, it all comes... when you're picking the cast, it basically comes down to who I want in the show.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
You don't want someone who's too good. That's the thing.
No, wouldn't work. Would
Let's
not
just
work.
come and just do all this stuff perfectly. Do you prefer the people who mess around and do it wrong, or the people who try their hardest to do it right? Or do you think you need a mixture of both?
Okay, 3 options.
Or something else?
I think B.
B.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You're in this little group of people who are very creative, I think, in Edinburgh. So I haven't seen all of your Edinburgh shows. I have seen some of your Edinburgh shows. But you and Tim Key, who you're very good friends with, and Mark Watson, who you're very good friends with, have done quite ambitious projects in Edinburgh.
Yes, you do quite. You've done Edinburgh.
But not. I think you guys do. I mean, there's loads of you.
You've
so you spread
2.
it around, you run around, there's lots of you. But it's quite consistently. Well, like you say, you did Taskmaster in that long ago, 2010. I think you emailed me and asked me if I would take part, and I didn't. So, fair dues. It's... I'm not doing that. Fuck that. It sounds stupid. I'm the man who turned down the Beatles. That's who I am. And was your first show... How to Avoid Huge Ships in the year 2000, is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
It might have been 1999. No, it was 2000.
I think it was 2000 because I wasn't in Edinburgh that year and I don't recall that show.
There's no reason why you should recall it. It was in the old Gilded Balloon before it got burnt down. We got a 1-star... We only got one review and it was a 1-star review.
Right.
It was a 3-hander, me and Tom Bell. Tom
yes,
Bell, he's very a funny man.
Yeah.
And he's doing great things. And then a girl called Emma Conway, who's now... works for James Corden's production company in America, very high up. So they're...
Yeah.
We got...
So that 1 star was, between 3, it's a third of a star each.
Yeah. How long should I talk about this show for?
Well, as long as you think it's interesting.
It was awful, but we had... it's probably the best month of my life. I got together with my future wife during the month. One night, we each had every flavour of Bacardi Breezer before going on stage.
Right.
So I had a lot of fun. You remember it was the year when there were the girls with light. You weren't there, but there was girls with lighters, the Marlborough girls in the bars.
There were Marlborough girls on other years.
Yeah, I think it was a fun time.
There were girls who walked around the President's Courtyard, handing out free cigarettes.
Yeah, I didn't smoke, but it was just brilliant. I got loads of cigarettes, and Rich Hall was, I think he probably won the Perrier that year. I don't know, but it was just a wonderful. I was a student, and it was a very bad show. It was set in a submarine, but we didn't reveal that till the end, and we're thinking everyone's going to go, "Wow, it was in a submarine the whole time," but there was no relevance to that bit. And we got the name from a book of. We nicked the name. There's a book of titles of books with the funniest titles.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The sentence. So even the name, I think the name's quite funny. How to avoid huge ships.
Yeah.
We didn't even come up with that.
Okay.
So,
what would be, because there's a lot of shows. What would have been which is your favourite of those many shows you've done?
Well, you know, you did that thing where you redid all your old shows, didn't
Yes.
you? How was that? Sorry to not ask you a question.
It was, that's allowed.
Okay.
It was good, actually. So I did 12. Well, I did all the 11 shows I'd done, and then at the end I did a new show. I did Happy Now at the end, which was the first performance of Happy Now, which I didn't really have time to write because I was learning the other 11 shows.
Yeah.
But still, surprisingly, came out quite well right from the beginning.
Why did you do it?
Because I wasn't doing Edinburgh for the first time for ages, and I kind of thought it'd be interesting to do something in London near my house where I was living at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be a bit of a challenge, and I also felt that I was a much better stand-up, so I wanted to see if I could go back and do those shows better.
Yeah, that's what I would
Yeah.
do if I was to revisit an old show.
Yeah.
So the first show we did was probably my favourite in 2003, called Making Fish Laugh, which I think was really good. But now I look back and think I was useless at comedy. I'm not saying I'm much better now, but I think you'd have a much better take on it.
Yeah.
I think I was so naive, and I stuck to the script every single night, word for word, and there wasn't much mucking around. And it was with Tim Key again, who I underused criminally. You know, you'd put him forefront, and I would be the assistant. So that was probably my favourite show, because you're new to it all and it actually worked.
Yeah.
But I do sort of think, I'd love to. I've got no recordings of it. I haven't got a script, so it's just. Sort of
I was lucky because there was, when I did them, I'd either, because I redid Talking Cock and Christ on a Bike anyway, which I'd had bootlegged audio copies of was all I had. So
what does bootleg mean?
I mean, someone in the audience had recorded them at some point,
Right.
and then put them on the internet or sent them to me.
Do you think everyone else knew what bootleg? You knew what I meant. You just told me, didn't you? But yeah, I'd always wondered what that was. Why is it called bootleg?
I guess it comes from bootleg alcohol, which is called bootleg alcohol because
of the recordings.
Yeah. Because you make it in a boot with your leg.
With your leg, that'll be it. Yeah.
But like when I could be making it now, and you go, well, he's just. No one knows, and that's illegal alcohol I've got in there.
And why would you include leg in? I mean,
well, because the leg is making the alcohol, and the boot is where the alcohol is made. So
the foot's getting hard done by that. Should get some credit.
Well, without the leg, what is the foot?
I've always said that.
Without the foot, a leg is still a leg, but without the leg, a foot is just a
bit of meat.
Yeah,
lunch.
And you met Tim. I love Tim Key. I think we might have talked with Mark about Tim Key, and I love the fact that when you met him at university, and he auditioned for all the comedy shows, but he wasn't at the university.
Yeah, so I first met him. I watched him in an audition. I was auditioning him for the part of a pirate in Treasure Island, a pantomime which I'd written, which again was very bad, and he just lit it up. He was wearing an ice hockey. I think a Canada ice hockey shirt.
Okay.
Really remember it because he wore it for 4 or 5 years. And it was very funny instantly. And he said he was at Sydney Sussex, which was the college I was at, so I knew that he wasn't because it's a very small college.
It is.
But his brother had been there a few years before.
Right.
But he stuck to that story for years. And there was no need to, because you can be in Footlights without being at Cambridge.
Can you?
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing that people don't think of, really. I think...
No.
You think you have to, and that's such a good idea to go and just audition for all the stuff and not have to. I mean, I auditioned for all the stuff, and I was at university, and I didn't bother doing any work, but I was meant to be doing some work.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm very keen not to do, though, is talk about Tim Key.
Yeah. he's so good, though, isn't he?
Oh, he's fine. I do think... No, he's very funny. He's very funny, yeah. We could do what? We'd do 10 on Tim?
I just love that he did. But I love the fact that you knew. So you covered for him basically when he said this, because
but covered for him to no one, because there are no authorities. It was a weird cover. I think it was covering for him against other students who didn't get the role, maybe.
Right.
But there's no, it's not like you're joining the army.
You can just do it. You can just go and do it. Do you think if you just walked into like an office and said, "I'm the boss here now"?
No, I think that's a very different scenario.
Yeah, I think people could do that. I'm the boss. Well, the other guys was Mr. He's gone.
No, there's no way that would
gone.
work. No way. No, not at all. That wouldn't.
I found a bloke's rail pass on the train last year.
Boasting.
And it had I thought, and I knew it had all his work details and stuff. And I thought I could use that to go in. It had his photo because it was a rail card, and I didn't look like him. But I could use that as an ID and go in and take over his life. And that was my idea.
Did you do that?
No, I found out where he was by finding him on Twitter, and then I posted it back to him.
Good. No, I think he's a funny guy. I just think because he's in everything, all podcasts end up talking about him.
Yeah. Well, he won't come on this one, so this is the only way I can.
No, I know.
Get to the heart of him.
Yeah. Can I tell you one thing about him? He's my son's godfather.
Yeah.
And he generously gave him a Kindle for Christmas 3 years ago. But he didn't realise that when you buy a Kindle, it's linked to your own Amazon account. So every book, I could have called him Tony. His real name is Tom, but I try not to use his real name on stage. So every book Tony buys, Tim pays for. We bought the 13 Lemony Snicket's books yesterday, 50 quid. Brilliant. It's called Mr. T.D. Key's second Kindle. That's what it says on the top. And the stuff he's bought. I don't often swear, but absolute dog shit. Most of the books.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Yep.
That is good to know. And the Horne section, of course, is another. Yeah, two people.
They went mad, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Horne section. So that started the same year as Taskmaster in Edinburgh.
Right.
Were you going to ask me when it started?
No, I'm glad. It's interesting to know. It feels like that's been around longer than that. Whereas Taskmaster,
No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
Yeah,
no, it's the same.
I believe you.
No,
I mean, why would you lie? Yeah. It would be easily checkable. I could easily check that.
No, it's exactly the same.
Find you in a lie.
The Horne section and my eldest son Tony, real name Tom, they all came out the same year.
Did they?
Yeah. And I think did you find that when you had a child that you became more sort of fertile professionally because you didn't care anymore about failure?
No.
No,
I found it exhausting and very difficult to do anything. It means that you have to be very focused on when you are working, I think.
Yeah, I found you use every hour more valuably because you haven't got as many hours.
So I wish I could go back to the time when I didn't have anything in my life, no partner.
You can.
And no kids. Through murder.
Well, murder or divorce. Yeah.
Well, if I divorce, I still have to go and see the kids.
Oh, so divorce and murder, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can divorce my wife. I don't have to see her
Kill the kids,
again.
divorce the wife.
If I kill the kids, my wife probably won't want to see me again.
Yeah. Is that a big if? That is a big if. No, it is a big.
And she likes me though, so I think she might.
A bit.
She might get over it. I'll ask her when she's going to be a guest on. I'm really looking forward to it. If only I could choose the guests somehow. But you played the Palladium with you, so you did was it a 2-hour TV show for Dave at the Palladium?
Yeah, that was genuinely a wonderful thing for us. And so the Horne section is a music and comedy show, I suppose. So there's 5 musicians and me, and 2 of them, Joe and Ben, are my oldest friends. We were born the same year in the same town, and our mums are friends, and we're all the middle brothers of 3 brothers, and we all went to primary school together. So that particular gig, Joe, the trumpeter, had a baby, his first son, daughter. 2 were great friends. He had his first daughter 2 days before the recording.
Right.
And all our mums were in the audience because they come to everything. And the Palladium was, full. Not by the end, actually, because the recording was too long. But at the start, it was full. And it was a really special night. So, and now that I've got kids, I've got 3 boys, and I've also got 2 brothers. And you do think, imagine if they were on stage with their little friends in the Palladium in 30 years. So it was nuts. It was literally nuts.
Do you think you could do like a Horne Horne section babies, like the Muppet Babies, when we go back and reimagine the three of you doing the Horne section as kids, babies?
2 of my children play the saxophone.
Okay.
And I hate the saxophone.
Okay.
It's very frustrating. But I did do a thing last Christmas where I recorded one of them played the saxophone and put it on the screen, and we all played along with it. And I loved it. Nothing from the audience. Awful. It's too schmaltzy.
No.
But no, they've got no talent, Tony and Barry and Darren. So, but then nor do I. This is what the Horne section is built on, is that I don't have any talent musically at all, and they all do. And they don't have any talent comedically, although frustratingly they do.
Yeah.
So I slag them off, and they slag me off. But
it's a lot. I mean, you've done three series of the radio show, is it now? And
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
now we're moving to the podcast world.
Yes. Well, I saw you.
You know.
We were talking about your Patreon, in which the top level. I was explaining to you that the top level is worth having a go. It's $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. Or $1,000 a month.
On our one, yeah, you've got the option.
$50 a month, yeah.
Yeah, if you got them,
I think $1,000 a month is too much for one person to pay.
Yeah, but if one person does it, or imagine if 1,000 people do it.
Yeah,
it's £1 million a month.
Yeah.
Huh? And that carries on. If there was 10,000 doing it, that would be doing 1,000 a month. That would be £10 million a month.
Yeah.
And again, if there was 100.
How many people have taken signed up to that level?
Yeah, at the moment there's only 500 people giving us 1,000. No, so yeah, to fund our podcast, because it's all independent. We do it in Mark the saxophonist's basement, and so it's self-funded, and it's really nice because you have more access to the people listening. Access is the wrong word, but more of a relationship.
Yeah.
And if you give us $5 a month, we will sing about you. You will go into a song, and if you give us $10 a month, we'll be a slightly longer song, and $1,000 a month, it's the same.
Do you get do you get a song every month?
I don't know.
No, you're just waiting to see for that moment to happen.
No one's. Yeah, I mean, why would you not put that as an option?
Well, I think for $1,000 a month, like you'll get more than a song. I think that's the.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like a wedding list. You might as well have something on there for your rich uncle.
No, it's fine. I'm not knocking it.
It felt like you were knocking it.
I'm knocking it. I am. Now I think about it, I'm knocking it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you some questions from my extensive research of your life.
Okay, then.
Have you ever been confused with Dr. Alex Horne, lead child and adolescent consultant psychiatrist at the Nightingale Hospital?
Are they all yes or no's?
Well, if you have, I would like to find out more about it.
So no.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
There is a famous Alex Horne, the former managing director of the FA, and we both got sent for a long time emails to the wrong Alex Hornes, and we're a similar age, and it turns out we've got friends in common, and there's been plenty of headlines in the paper saying Horne backs FA and Horne rejects Wembley claims. So that's the answer to.
That's a different question.
Yeah, but still it's valid.
Have you ever been mistaken for Alex Horne, a female runner from Macclesfield, who's currently in the under-17 age group in Run Britain, and at 88,200 on the national ladder? Her last event was the 800 metres in...
And you've written all this down?
2015,
Why not print
where she
it out?
ran in 2 minutes 42 seconds, 0.0.
No need for the 0.0. Is there?
Are you related? Are you related to her? Have you been confused with her? Not related to her? That we
No, again, but there was this. There is a famous Alex with the same answer as before, really. But, yeah. How many more have you got?
That one's a woman. That's because Alex can be a girl's name as well.
I did always want to marry a girl called Alex when I was an adolescent. I thought that'd be very sweet to.
Like Evelyn Waugh.
No. I thought you meant. Oh, did he have the same with Evelyn?
Yeah, he married an Evelyn. He didn't marry an Alex.
I thought you meant it would be sweet if I married Evelyn Waugh.
You were born in Petworth. Have you ever been... Is that right?
Nope.
I can't read my own writing.
Chichester, is that what you...
Well, according to Wikipedia, which is mainly what I use...
Yes. Near Petworth, they probably meant.
Okay, well, I won't ask that question if it's wrong.
Ask it.
Have you been to Petworth Cottage Museum? Because if you're from Petworth, you probably would have done, but if you're from Chichester...
I probably have been to Petworth.
Okay.
Yeah, I live quite near there.
You live in Chesham. Have you been to Chesham Museum?
You know what? I haven't been to Chesham Museum.
No, it looks good.
Because it's only open, I think, 2 mornings a week for some reason. But I love Chesham. I've been there
Yeah.
11 years. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah.
We do a lot of filming for Taskmaster there. And
Can you name 5 other shows that are filmed in Chesham?
I
High
probably
Street?
can. Midsummer
Okay.
Murders is filmed in Chesham.
Yeah, correct.
Some of the FA Cup was filmed there because
No, that's in Wembley.
Chesham won the Giant Killers of the
Oh,
Year
did they?
Award 2 years ago. And they beat Bristol City, I think, or City. I think it was
Right.
City in round 2. Anyway, what else was filmed there? There was Man Down was filmed. A little
Was it?
aspect
I
of
didn't
Man
know
Down
that.
was filmed there with Andy McDowell. We've
Oh,
got to do all
did
5.
The Professionals was filmed there.
Is this true?
Yeah. This is from memory, I might be wrong. There's quite a lot of things filmed there in the
Yeah.
High Street.
It's good
Who is your favourite notable resident from Chesham, apart from yourself?
Russell Grant.
Russell Grant.
Russell Grant does
He wasn't on
PT, physical
Yeah.
training, on the tennis court opposite where I used to live.
Okay.
And he really goes for it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Guy Siner, who plays Herr Gruber
Have I?
in
No.
It's in Chesham?
Who does he play?
Herr Gruber.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does he live in Chesham?
Guy Siner lives in Chesham, yeah. Have you ever seen Nye Bevan in Chesham?
No, he's dead. He's dead.
He died in Chesham.
Yeah. No, I visit his grave. I do visit his grave. I do visit his grave.
How's your TV and phone reception? Can you receive Channel 5?
I love this podcast.
Look,
Okay.
people in Chesham are going fucking nuts at this.
Yeah.
It's not playing in London, but the listeners in Chesham are going,
Yeah.
woo! Guy Siner!
Well,
Woo!
they
The
all know.
bad phone reception. How did Richard Herring know?
Well, it's bad and good. So it's a valley.
Okay.
Obviously, you know it's a valley. It's in
Yeah,
the
well, so
Chilterns.
some places are good, some just
Yeah,
find
and we
out.
used to live at the bottom of the valley. Now we
Yeah,
live at the
bad.
top of the valley.
It's good.
Yeah, good, but not good phone reception. Better TV, but worse phone reception, and vice versa in the bottom of the valley.
Which would you prefer to have? Would you prefer to have good phone reception or good TV reception? This is a great
It is a great question. It is a good question.
emergency
No,
question.
it's funny you ask me that because.
Book 2 has started already. That's question 1.
No, because sometimes I watch TV and sometimes I use the phone. So
Yeah.
it would be nice to have both, but it
Yeah.
seems I can't. And if
You
I
had to choose one.
If I know, which in this case I do.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna plump for the phone reception.
Okay. Good. So someone on Twitter was asking.
So I can call people.
Okay, sorry, I thought you'd.
Just a pause, Richard. But that is the end of the sentence
Okay.
now.
I guess if you had good phone reception, you could always ring someone up who had good TV reception.
Get them to describe
and either get them to describe it or listen to the TV through their phone.
Yeah.
But if you had good TV reception, you couldn't ring someone up.
No, you can't communicate through
Yeah.
TV. Yeah.
You can't. Someone was asking on Twitter, and I like this moment, and I would like to know more about it as well. In Taskmaster with Lisa Tarbuck.
With a Z, well done.
Yeah, Lisa Tarbuck, to demonstrate her love for Greg
Davis.
Davis, the Taskmaster, made you sit on a cake. How was that? How was the experience of sitting on a
It was
cake?
good,
for
thank you. So it wasn't just sitting on a cake. It was take your trousers off.
Oh yeah.
And then take your pants off.
Yeah.
And then go into a shed and sit on a cake.
Yes.
And the cake had to be covered in confectioner's cream.
It was something along those
quite
lines.
specific,
yes.
yeah.
Wasn't she? Did I think it was called something else, but I can't remember what she
Yeah,
called
it was something like that, wasn't it? And it is a recognised sexual fetish, sitting
Is
on
it?
cakes. I've been sent many an image since, and been contacted by 2 clubs.
Oh really?
It's a different world to my normal world
Yeah.
in Chesham. But no, it was lovely. So I sat on it
Yeah.
slowly. She wanted the temperature to be warmer than it actually was, so it was more of a shock than it should have been. No, it was really nice, but it was mucky for a week. Just because how do you completely clean it? You know, it was.
In the bath.
Oh, I tried that. No, because it was
The
so
hose pipe?
the way you sat. I
Yeah.
described it on the show quite vividly,
Yeah.
but it was. I opened up and in it went. That basically. A lot of it, and I'd never done anything like that before. Nothing had gone in before. I think genuinely nothing had gone in before. So it's the first time stuff had gone in.
Well, it's a good start. You know, if anything's got to go in
Get a
there,
cake
sort of
up there.
nice cake.
Yeah.
It's nice on some of the options. Is what I'm saying.
I think still nothing since has gone in.
No.
But I've thought about it. Has much gone in? Much gone in over there?
Not objects.
Not objects.
No.
Liquids.
Not like inanimate things. Animate things have gone in there.
Have any whole things like whole? Has anything disappeared into it?
If you read my book, you would think a lot of things have been up there because that's mainly what probably every, almost one-in-one question is about something being inserted in your anus.
So more things not been in than have been in.
Yeah. I think only fingers have got up there. The horn section have not been up there.
Was that? He was shouting that.
Yeah, I don't know if that was. I don't know if that was a proposed renaming of the anus, because that will slightly ruin your podcast if that becomes the new euphemism for the.
Might improve it.
For the anus. Have you been in the horn section?
I used to write a dreadful satirical page in a newspaper called "The Backdoor Trumpet," which is an old euphemism for that.
Okay. Just trying to think if anything else has been up there.
It should come to mind quicker than this.
You know, I've lived a long time and a lot of things have happened to me. A lot of strange things have happened to me in that time. Did people keep, like, every go suggesting tasks you could do on Taskmaster?
Well, it's quite interesting you say that.
Yeah.
Because more and more people are suggesting things, and I've always resisted it, like as you do in your book quite forcibly, saying your questions are not as good as my questions. And I have always thought no one can come up with a task because that's my job. Mm-hmm. I think quite protectively. And also I think it is quite a niche world and it's quite a nuanced world because it's quite offbeat but it's not wacky. And it's got to be a bit off kilter but not bonkers. Mm-hmm. And people have tended to send things in which are too just not quite right.
Yeah.
But recently there have been some good ones, and I don't know what to do with them. I don't know whether it's okay to put them in the show because it feels like you might be using them. You know, because I don't think we can pay them. I don't think they want payment, but it feels odd to suddenly make it a crowd-sourced show. But they're really good ideas, so I don't know what to do with that. So I'm mulling it over.
Mine, the ones people have given me, apart from children, are really good at emergency questions. Are children any good at coming up? Probably not.
They're very good at coming up with solutions to tasks.
Okay.
My kids, I do test them on Barry, Darren and Gary.
Yeah.
Tony as well. I've got 4 now. And there's a good example in this series. One of the tasks is don't blink. Last person to blink wins. I said it to Barry, who's 7, and he said, well, I'll just do this. And he shut his eyes, didn't open them, and that's the perfect solution.
Yes, that is good.
And no adults thought of that, but that was instant. That's what I did.
Someone came up with a brilliant that ruins my human centipede question that I won't ask you because I know you're a very polite man. It's a very unpleasant question, but the person in front of you should have a colostomy bag, and then that's not a problem, is it? They've ruined the question. You can never ask it again. So I will. That
wasn't a child who came
What
up
I
with
like
that.
about this, what I like about the. It wasn't a child. That was an adult. What I like about the Taskmaster book, which
one
is
of the things I like.
One
about
of the many things I like about it. I love all of it. Having bought it, having had it bought for me about 45 minutes before the show began, is
£13.
£13. You're never going to sell them with that price range. No price. Free. It's free.
Sorry.
You're allowed to rip some of them are about ripping the book up and stuff like that.
Oh, it's a wonderful book, Richard.
Yeah.
So the book is meant to be. There was some small amount of clamour, if you can have a small amount of clamour for tasks. People wanted me to set them tasks.
Yeah.
Scout groups and classrooms and hen nights and armies. A couple of armies. Got in touch. And so I spent a lot of time replying. I tried to reply to everyone, which is a bad idea, and set tasks. So in this there are 200 tasks for people to do, but a lot of them are for people to do by themselves and compete against other task I don't want to say fans or task. People who like Taskmaster.
Fans of tasks.
Yeah, task fans. So you can do the tasks and then compete against other people around the country or the world. And once a month, I'm going to reveal who's doing the best around the world, which is what the original Taskmaster was in Edinburgh. That once a month, I would recap how people were doing. So there's things, where you can rip stuff out of the book. They've got to rip out a picture of me and give it to me at a certain time.
Right.
There's a picnic next on 14th of September 2019, and the coordinates are in the book, so they've got to get there at that time.
Okay.
But, and I need to mention this, the longitude is minus and then a very long number, but it looks like a dash. And if you go to the positive rather than the negative longitude, I won't be there. So that's an issue. But there's lots of long-term tasks, and I've got a PO box, and there's things like send the most unusual thing to this PO box.
Yeah.
It's quite interactive.
It's good, but there's something thrilling about being told to rip up. I mean, it's good for you because then they have to buy another book.
Yeah.
You should, first task should be rip this book to
buy
pieces.
another book. But one of the tasks, I think, is make the biggest tower of this book, but you can't be within 100 metres of a bookshop.
Right.
So you've got to somehow buy 100 books. I didn't. But yeah, there's lots of things. There's one which is swap this book for the greatest thing to try to spread the book around the place. So it's quite an interactive book. It's a really good book.
Not as interactive as this book. Yeah, I think green is a nice colour, but luckily a colourblind person won't be able to tell our two books apart. That's
luckily. Well, no, it's not just yeah, no, they would, because the title. I think colourblind people can read. I think. Are you going to read from your book? You are.
I've just
reading
got
it in your head.
Got bored of the conversation. Just thought I'd see what's in my book.
I wasn't enjoying it either.
I'm going to ask you an emergency question.
When
I've found it.
Just ask it.
I'm going to go from the end of the book where I honestly think
you don't have to tell me what you're going to do.
They're not as good. What was the last thing you? This is going to ask you three questions.
I know.
What was the last thing you? What was the last thing you lamented?
Okay, I'm now going to answer your question.
Yeah, this is the first of three.
What was the last thing I lamented?
Lamented,
and that means sort of wailing with.
Well,
woe.
it means you were particularly sad about. I mean, it's a horrible question.
Well,
I
firstly,
think about it. Yeah.
And my dad gets very annoyed if people who say firstly. First should be.
Okay.
First, I've never been sad.
Okay.
I've said this. Genuinely, not had that yet.
Okay.
And I think it's because I'm quite shallow.
Okay.
You know, in your podcast last week, there was stuff about whether intellectuals should all be drunk.
Yes.
And that I think your guest Richard said, if you're intellectual, you should be upset.
I'm Richard. He was Jonathan.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jonathan. I think Jonathan, your guest, said that if you're intellectual, you should be upset, and that made me upset. That meant that I'm not intellectual because I'm genuinely very happy.
Okay.
And very rarely sad because I think it's fine, isn't it? Most things, I know it's not great for everyone, but I'm pretty happy.
Okay.
So the last thing I lamented, like the last thing I lamented.
You can lament things on a casual basis. I lament coming on this podcast. It would be an example. I mean, I'm not saying you do, but
I think I was thinking you were implying that you were lamenting me coming on.
No, I've said me coming on the podcast. If it was me, I was actually doing an impression of you.
Right.
I thought a very accurate impression of you.
No, I don't lament this. I think I lament. I don't think I've ever lamented.
Okay, that's fine.
I'd like to lament.
You're allowed to not
lament.
Yeah. What was the last thing you laminated?
That's more like it. Much more like it. And that is a good question.
Thank you.
The last thing I laminated was fake ID.
Okay.
And I left it in the printer. I must have been under 18, obviously.
Yes.
I think I was 15, and I left it. So I haven't laminated for a while.
Yeah,
25 years.
It's a long time.
Quarter of a century free of laminating now.
Yeah.
Normally people would applaud at that. But I laminated a fake ID, and then I think I left it in the printer, in the photocopier in the Midhurst Public Library, and then panicked so much that I was going to get arrested because somebody else would find it. I wish I hadn't said and.
It was a great story up to that.
No, but
well, I think you've answered the next question.
You.
What was the last thing you lamented laminating?
Oh, okay, yeah. It's true. The last time I laminated or lamented was Midhurst Public Library in 1993.
I was just glad I'd got 3 questions out of that, I have to say. So it's that when you're approaching 1,001, get 3 for the price of 1.
Yeah, so why did you... Because I did 200 tasks.
Yeah.
5 times that is an awful lot. How much...
they're only small, though, aren't they? Those are quite small as well.
Yeah. I'd say... I think most of these are good, but I don't know how you... work with your books. This got sent to me. I really worked hard on it, and it is all my words, and people presume a TV book is written by someone else. But I really struggled with it and trying to make it as good as possible. And as soon as it was sent to me, I opened it on one task. I thought, nah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a task set in a car, and the driver can't do it because it has to be health and safety things. Yeah. And once one person is out, the task... Basically, I was so disappointed. You could do it on a coach or a minibus.
Okay. I think that's true. I think however much you proofread a book, how much you read it through, you open it up, and it didn't happen directly with this book, but nearly always, if I've got a program written, I open it up, and the first thing I see is a mistake.
It's very frustrating.
Even if there's only one in there. The one I tweeted one of the ones from here today or yesterday, and I realised it accidentally. I deliberately make them ambiguous sometimes so people can take the, because it's interesting to see how someone takes a question. But I'd said, who was the worst person who you felt sad had died, which my one is Jeffrey Dahmer, which I immediately take as who's the worst person.
I see what you mean, yeah.
But some people take that as who's the worst person for you who's died. Yeah. So they were going Amy Winehouse. I was going, oh, fuck, she was all right, wasn't she?
We'll see.
No.
So worst
I mean, you could maybe that's the level that you cut off anyone who's been worse than
Did you ask them to clarify why they were...
Yeah, well, I sort of realised after 2 or 3 people had done it what happened, because 2 or 3 people went the wrong way and said someone that was, Rick Mail. You go.
So after you picked apart their morning 3 times, you stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I thought it was clear. So you do notice those mistakes quickly, but.
I wrote a book about bird watching.
Oh yes.
Which didn't sell in the end, but I really liked it. It's about my father is a bird watcher, and I spent a year with him, bird watching with him, to try to understand why he does it as a hobby. Anyway, the main point of this is there was a misprint in the book. Instead of the word with, it said Wicust Jeremy Strongth. WICUST instead of with.
Did you get to the bottom of that? Why that happened?
I did. I phoned the publisher and said, why does it say Wicust Jeremy Strongth instead of with? And they apologised, but there it is. But you do imagine these readers going, it's a misspelling. Yeah, no, the cust Jeremy Strongth is silent. Yeah.
Sometimes, people do a search and replace.
Yeah.
I can't. What they're replacing what?
There's an author called Jeremy Strong who I've since read to my children. He's a children's author, and I think cust must mean customer or something. But I don't know how it slipped into my with. It's in the first editions of that.
Okay.
So
that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah. And on the book, I did a book tour of village halls, and in the publicity to it, they'd misspelt the word sign. They said books will be signed by the author, but they put singed. So I found the page with Wicust Jeremy Strongth and burnt it.
Oh God, good.
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 Are you texting someone?
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
My phone, my iWatch just ran out of battery, so I was just looking at the time, just checking where we were.
Okay.
Trains to catch.
Watch is off, is it? Watch is off.
Watch is going off. Love
it. We could be here forever now.
My main problem with the Apple Watch is.
Oh yeah.
Did you smell? How does your digital watch there comply? The arm. After a while, dirt catches under there.
Lovely. I'll smell yours if you want to smell mine.
No, I don't want you to smell that.
I want to smell yours.
You're my guest, and I don't want you to have to smell.
I mean,
it might waft over. You think, what's that strange milk-like smell?
I want to either smell it or touch it or lick it.
Lovely.
It's all right. It smells fine. It's all right. That's all right.
Okay, good. And so Taskmaster went to America as well.
Yes.
How was that with Reggie Watts as the...
Yeah, so I spent 6 weeks there last year with the director, Andy Devonshire, who's a wonderful man. And we lived in a little apartment, and we made Taskmaster in America with Reggie Watts, as you said.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful... It was a brilliant experience. And I was really pleased with the programme, but I don't think it's worked.
Right.
In the way it's worked here. I think for various reasons. It's very short. They made it 22 minutes instead of... Here it's an hour, but with adverts it's 45. There it's half an hour with adverts. 22 goes very quickly, so there's not the time for it to breathe. My favourite bits in this country is when there's arguments and it spills over. A bit like, in this chat, when things go a way that you're not expecting.
Yes.
That didn't happen in the American one.
No.
You just did the task and the audience whooped for, a couple of minutes. So that ate up most of the programme. But I really like the contestants were great, and they did get on board with it, and they understood the tone of it, but it didn't quite catch fire. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen again.
No.
But
I think, but there's also, I'm not saying there wasn't with Reggie, but there's an amazing synergy between you and Greg. I think it does really work as a double act.
I agree, but I don't think it was there from the beginning, because we didn't know each other before. And I always wanted him to do it because I do think he's got natural, obviously presence, and that role is perfect for him. Yeah. And I never wanted to do that myself because I haven't got the right temperament. I think Reggie could have that if he carried on doing it. So it's slightly frustrating. But we went in without a pilot. You just go straight in because it already exists. Yeah. So if it never happens again, it's a wonderful thing to say. I did a telly show in America.
Because people keep, lots of people go over to America and do work over there, and often for quite a long time. And especially if you're writing a sitcom or something over there, you can be over there for 6 months, but you're away for sort of 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, 6 weeks was a long time. And to be honest, I've no desire to work in America at all, except, it's really fun to see your idea over there. But I would, if it had been a success, that might be a problem in terms of my life, because I like living in Chesham.
Yes.
It's in a valley. The phone reception's not great at the bottom, but if you go to the top of the valley, it's great. The trouble is then the TV,
And in LA, no Russell Grant. No. Hardly ever. No Guy Signer.
Very little Nye Bevan in the end.
Yeah.
So, no, I think, it was an experience.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think most things are.
But Greg's quite mean to you in the show. Do you think? I mean, he's quite... Is he? Well, he sort of mildly bullies you.
He is. My mother-in-law, Anne...
Yes.
Sorry. Tim Key and I don't think she's going to listen. Let's take the risk. Okay. We have a thing where she's Irish, and I always pretend to forget her name, and we both go, "Oh, what is it? It's a funny old Irish name, isn't it? It's an Irish name." Anne, that's it. Anyway, so Anne doesn't like Greg because she thinks he demeans me on telly, and that's not good for me or for my children's view of me. But I like it.
Yeah.
It's
very nice. He may be. He's been on this show before, Greg. He may be coming on later in the
evening
series.
Oh,
in here, we just thought we'd wait for the last 2 minutes to have him on.
You're not meant to bring back people who worked with each other last week.
Is there anything you'd like to get off your chest about him?
No, I would like to say I'm 6'2", because that's the question I do get asked most.
Yes.
Is, God, if you're that tall, how tall's he? Because I do. He calls me Little Alex Horne and so on. And he is. You've seen him, but he is big.
He's tall.
So people presume I'm very little, but I don't really care. I quite like it. People presuming you're smaller than you are.
People presume I'm small, and so.
Who?
What can you do?
Who presumes you're?
Well, actually, no. People presume I'm quite tall, and then they meet me and go.
I always think your hair's going to be longer.
Well, it sometimes is.
Oh, that'll be it then.
I get it.
So what happens if you...
I go to a hairdresser's and
then it gets shorter.
They cut it.
So I see. So if you leave it for a bit, it gets...
Yeah, it does tend to get length and...
Would you let me know next time you know when you're going to go to the hairdresser, and I'll come and meet you just before?
Yeah, you can have a look. It used to be very... I mean, I think probably, in the 2010 era...
Very long,
It was leonine.
But I imagine before that it was probably shorter.
It was. Well, it was... When I was born, it was barely... There was barely anything there, and then it
longer again.
grew, and then I think my mum probably cut it the first time.
Mummy?
Yeah, and I remember going to hairdressers when I was a little older, and then that sort of has carried on, and then I wouldn't go to the hairdressers.
It'd get longer.
It would get long. Then I go, it's a bit long, so I'd go to the hairdressers, and they'd cut some of it off.
Short again. No, I've got the same thing. What with mine? If I don't go, for a while, it'll be a lot longer than before. And then almost as soon as you go in there, well, it's between going in and coming out, it gets a whole lot shorter.
Yeah.
Last time I went to the hairdressers in Chesham, I go to a Turkish place. There was a power cut during it, and they carried on by torchlight. And I couldn't pay because the till didn't work. Okay.
Didn't you have any cash on you? Or they just couldn't take the cash?
They couldn't operate the till.
Well, could they just take the cash and...
I wouldn't have got my change.
Go back later, give them a tip?
I hadn't thought that.
You meant to tip... Hairdressers are one of the people you meant to tip for some reason.
I'm quite generous to the hairdressers, yeah.
Not generous enough to
I'm normally quite generous.
into a tenner.
How much do you reckon this haircut costs?
Turkish barbers in Chesham?
Yep.
£12.
Oh. That's not a compliment. 16, and I give 20 and then walk out.
Yeah.
20, like, that's a massive tip.
£4?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a quarter of the cost of the haircut.
Yeah.
It would be excessive.
But I feel quite good. You know,
could you say next time that's the tip for the
tip for the next 4 haircuts? Or, you can say, next time I'm going to give you 15.
Yeah.
How much is yours? Because I reckon...
What do you think?
100. It's really
it was
nice.
Actually, I went to Tony and Guy's in Hitchin, and I had... you got different levels you can go for in Tony and Guy. You can have like the...
Grade 1?
This is the bloke who cleans the toilets.
Oh, I see.
He can do it, and that's...
Right.
He gives you £5 just to run his fingers
so
through
it's not just Tony and Guy?
Tony and Guy is... well, you also get the experience of Tony and Guy because someone different washes your hair.
Right.
And then as they're doing it, they start massaging your head. I mean, it might just be that all the young women who work at Tony and Guy see this and want a little piece of it. So I think my only real way to communicate my love for him is to knead his skull, because that's the only bit I'm allowed to touch. So I'll try and sort of use some kind of basic Morse code to let him know that I want him.
I mean, all I'm looking for is a number.
That's probably what I think it is.
It's
either that or they don't fancy him and they're made to do it by Tony or Guy.
How much, though?
This haircut...
Yeah.
I didn't go for the cleaner. I didn't go for the junior
Just a number,
stylist.
Richard.
I didn't go for the stylist. I didn't go for the very good stylist. I went for the senior stylist, top best haircutter in Hitchin. His name...
Well, it's Tony or Guy. That's what it should be called.
They don't work there. £55, and I gave a £5 tip. £60.
Right.
But, man, I've got a lot of hair.
So you tip 11%, do you? Because I do 25.
Right.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel when it's the senior stylist, you shouldn't be tipping him at all. That's like, he's already got a Lamborghini and stuff, and he out there from all his years of cutting hair. Picking up £2 extra a time.
Does yours burn your ears at the end of it?
It doesn't, no, it doesn't.
Mine does that.
Yeah.
I imagine some people have that, where they set fire to a little thing and then put it next to your ear. And I always try not to flinch, because I think they'll make them respect me more. Yeah. And it really hurts.
I've never had that happen. I was discussing backstage during the Brian Blessed thing with Chris Evans, not that one, the director, that what I quite like to do during interviews on Rehearsal that no one notices, well, maybe they have, but I will pull out my ear hair during it. I haven't done it today, so it must be going well. So it's just have a little...
Oh, here we go.
Have a little... That's what I'm doing, if you were wondering. That's that mystery solved. It's a bit like in Friends when Ross and Rachel get together. Once that has been revealed...
Which one's Friends?
It's going to be difficult to... It's the one about there's some friends in it. And a monkey. Friends and a monkey. Oh, no, I'm thinking a monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah. No one remembers Monkey.
No, I don't remember Monkey. I don't know. No, we've got very different references.
Yeah, where the old people, they've all died.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest Monkey. I mean, I would try and do an impression of it, but it's near the end of the podcast and I don't want to leave on a racially insensitive note. So it's...
Go on, you do the impression of the monkey.
It was like a kung fu thing.
Okay.
It was set in China, I think.
In the China?
In the China. I'm not going to do it because you know. No. Oh, go on, Rich, do it. I honestly can't remember what he did, this monkey. Sure. I don't know. See, it's ruined.
Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done it. He doesn't even do that.
Look at...
They've turned.
Of course they've turned. You were awful.
Let me do it. I said I didn't want to do it.
You shouldn't have done it.
Still, new load of supporters. 52% on my side, so fuck you. So it's... fuck you, you Ramonas, with your non-racism. So, I've had a lovely time chatting with you. It's... I'm just going to see if I can get my... I'll see when my next train is.
Can I see when mine is?
Well, it's 20 past 10.
I'm not going to make... We can do a bit more.
Yeah, okay.
Mine goes at 3 minutes to the hour.
Yeah, mine. I'll be waiting there, but then got to get up there. Could take an Uber. It's a long way. How much does it cost to get an Uber to Chesham? Chesham.
The locals call it Chesham.
Okay.
And actually, it's named after the River Chess.
Okay.
And
the musical chess.
Yeah, sorry, it's named after the musical. What did I say? River? No, it's named after the musical chess. Yeah. Sorry. Fridays it costs £91. That seems to be the number.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't think it'd be that much.
No, but that's why you said it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things.
But on a day like today, which is Monday.
Yeah.
So that would be Tuesday, Wednesday, or... Yeah, those are the 2 days that are like Monday.
Yeah.
55.
55?
Like your haircut.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess I only have ever taken one on a Monday, so that's why I thought that was not 91 was expensive. 55 is very reasonable.
Still a lot though, isn't it, to get home?
You get 250 quid for being on this.
Do you?
Yeah, so you could just...
Do you?
Yeah.
We don't pay anyone on the Horne section one.
Don't you?
We just hope people are going to give us £1,000 a month. Do you?
So,
do I?
Yeah, you could just take...
I'm definitely getting an Uber.
Take 55 quid of that.
I might get 5 Ubers.
You could... you could tip for 195 haircuts as well.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really perked up. How does the money work? Does it go through...
Well, I can either
Cash.
just cash in hand.
Yes, please. Because then I don't have to pay tax or my agent.
Exactly.
Much better.
Or you can pay through agent.
Brilliant.
It's good. Cash is great for that.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Because you end up with more money.
Yeah, no one knows. There's no way that anyone can prove it.
No, as long as
one
there's
way or the
no
other.
record.
Yeah. You are very good at table football.
Thank you.
Yep.
Can I tell you, I've got a table football tape which I gave to my kids recently. 32 years old. I had it when I was 8.
Right.
And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still working.
Working
Is it
perfect working
like
order.
a big one you get in a bar or a little dinky one?
No, it's a big one you get in a bar. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I played my 3-year-old daughter at table football on holiday.
Yeah.
She was disappointingly bad at it.
Not good at it.
It was very bad.
What's wrong
it was
with
the
her?
thing she was best at out of all the games I played her at, though. She was ping pong she couldn't do.
Oh, she's bad at most things.
She couldn't do pool. She had no idea how to play pool. She couldn't do... I tried to play badminton with her. Nothing.
No? Is she nice looking, though? Has she got that?
Well... I mean, she sort of looks like... If you imagine my face was swashed together with my wife's face and put on a tiny human being.
Right, so
that's what she
double
looks like.
nose, double eyes. I'm not surprised she can't... with that many eyes, it's probably hard to see which shuttlecock...
Badminton's a hard... Did you play badminton? You look like
Every
the kind of man
day,
who
thank
would.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, twice a day, actually, now.
Yeah.
Badminton.
It's a hard sport.
Yeah. Well, it gets easier. It gets easier. Yeah. The more you play, the easier it gets.
And then much harder as you get
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
older
Then
and
much
older.
harder again. Yeah.
And when you're dead, impossible.
Yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I've not got there yet.
So when you're a baby, it's really difficult. 3 years old, difficult. 6 years old, getting a bit better. 16, proficient.
Big leap. But yeah. I thought we'd going through the threes.
32, maybe better than when you were 16.
Yeah.
Because it's not that. Don't have to be that strong, do you?
No?
It's the kind of sport that you play when you've forgotten your proper sports kit.
Okay.
You met the Pope.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Yeah, how was he? Which Pope was it?
I can't remember. It was the one before...
You can't remember? You met the Pope, you don't know which one. It's
the...
confusing with the hat. They all look the same.
It was 2006. It was
right.
pre-Ratzinger, I think.
Right.
Or post-Ratzinger. Or it might have been Ratzinger.
Ratzinger's the... What do you think happened with Ratzinger? Why do you think he had to step down? What do you think was going on there?
I don't know, but maybe he wasn't a very good Pope.
Yes, probably was.
If you're a Catholic,
yeah.
and it's quite a big if you're not, like me, when you get married, you've got a year when you're allowed to go to a papal audience on a Wednesday.
Right.
And I did that. I married a Catholic lady because I was doing a show all about Latin, and this isn't the only reason I married her, but I saw her way in. So I married this Catholic lady, and actually her uncle is a bishop.
Wow.
He's a wonderful man, the Bishop of Derry. And he managed to make sure that we got basically good seats at the papal audience.
Right.
And the Pope came over and shook... The Pope came over and we shook hands, and I was filming it as well. And I spoke some Latin to him, because he's the only person in the world that speaks Latin.
Yeah.
So I said, Salve Papa, which means, hello, Pope. And that was it, and then he moved on. But I shook for just a little bit too long. Just held on so he'd remember me.
If I met the Pope,
big if,
I would say to him, Oige, oige, agricolae hodie non laborant.
Of course you would. Today, carry on.
Oige, oige.
Oige.
Yeah, means hooray, hooray.
Does it?
Yeah. Agricolae hodie non laborant.
Today are not working.
The farmers today are not working because it's the holiday, the farmers' holiday. That's what I would say to him.
And what do you reckon the Pope would say?
Yeah.
Oige.
Oige. Agricolae hodie non laborant. I had to play a farmer in a Latin lesson at school. Mr. Moore said to do it, and then I can still... That's the only bit I can remember. If I met the French Pope...
Big if.
I would say... Puisque le temps s'est tourné au beau pour qu'on ne pas en profiter.
Right.
If I met the German Pope...
Right.
I'd say Fern, Sahaparat, Reagan, Schirm, Wagen, Hund, all take der.
No, I can do that one. Say it slower.
Fern, Sahaparat, Reagan, Schirm.
Not sure. Not sure about
Fern, Sahaparat.
Who?
No, I don't know. I can't know what it means. One of them means umbrella. Reagan, Schirm, is that umbrella? Wagon, dog.
I don't think this is a highlight of the podcast.
I think it's good. But this is, if I met the Icelandic Pope, I'd be pretty stuck. Lucky there's just a Latin one, isn't it? The old Latin Pope.
Yeah.
I think it'd have been good if the Pope had high-fived you rather than shook your hands.
You
looked at your wife and gone...
He was... You know what? I have no interest in the area, and I'm not religious, but I was quite moved to meet him. It was like meeting, I suppose, the Queen. Even if you're not a monarchist, you probably think, that's pretty cool to meet the Queen. So I was, despite many things, it was an amazing occasion, mainly because there were thousands of people there, mainly in their bridal gear. So there was probably 5,000 brides and probably 5,000 bridegrooms. And then we ran through the streets of Rome, and my wife was wearing her wedding dress, and we got pizza, and people would shout "Ciao Bella" at her in the street. Oh. It was amazing. It was a really good day.
Maybe they're shouting "Ciao Bella" at you.
You think? Ciao bello. The Italians would know
they'd know
the correct word. Yeah. And
also,
she's really fit. Sorry?
The language stuff isn't going... This audience are not interested in learning anything about another language.
No.
Because now the Ramonas have gone... The Brexiteers are in now. And they're going, why are you speaking a foreign language? We're here in England. Speak English.
It does feel like we've lost them.
It does.
Yeah.
I like it when that happens.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind. I prefer it.
Because also you hinted that it was going to end about 20 minutes ago.
I know, that's why. And they are literally trapped in here.
Yeah.
There's no way for them to get out.
Still flicking through your book.
Just having a look to see if there's... Because I feel like there was other stuff.
There's no sense of urgency over there.
Who do you think? I think James Acaster. I mean, we've only seen 2 episodes of this series so far. I have. There might the third one.
I've seen them all. I was in it.
But you know,
a lot of them.
But you probably know what's going to happen. I felt James Acaster was going to be and still could be the greatest Taskmaster contestant
in living history.
Who do you feel has been the best contestant?
So there's been 35.
Right.
I genuinely think of all of them fondly. Ramesh, just so funny, so angry.
Yeah.
Tim, I don't want to talk about Tim Key. I could list all 35.
Can you? That's a good task.
Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially pointless.
I think they thought you...
No, it's the game would be a game in pointless. It will come up in pointless. Who do you think would get a pointless answer out of all the contestants?
Oh, I can't answer. I'm not going to give you...
I think it would be Phil Wang.
No.
Have
you seen what he's wearing?
If you asked 100 people to name a Taskmaster contestant, I think 5 of them would come up with an answer, and none of them would say Phil Wang.
Phil Wang would be the one they'd want to forget because of what he's wearing.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
What I like about Phil Wang, and
one of the things I like about Phil Wang.
What I like about him, one main thing I like about him, is every time he does something, and I don't know if he does it on purpose, he does it wrong. So he does it wrong. When he's closing a door, he goes to the handle on the other side every time.
He's an odd bloke.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's come through a door, and then when he goes back, he tries to close it from the other side. It's got to be deliberate. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I'd say there's similarities with Phil and Paul Chowdhury in that you don't know where the sort of comedy act ends and the human begins.
Yes.
It could all be an act or none of it.
Yes.
But I think you're right that James has the sort of DNA to be a very good contestant, and he's watched every second of it. He's watched more than I've been.
Than you have.
Yeah. So he is one. He does some very good things. But no, they all bring something to it because if all were the same as James, then it wouldn't be a good show. You need some bad, some good. But they've all been nice. We haven't had anyone on it who's not nice yet, Richard.
Is it true if you're asked to be on Taskmaster, you can never be on Taskmaster?
No, I think for some reason you started that rumour. So you got yourself into a state where you couldn't ask to be on it. I think you have to ask.
Okay. If I'm not.
No, that's not true at all. I mean, would love it when people ask because it makes it a lot easier because then you know they're interested.
That's true.
Yeah, it'll be a weird rule to put in.
Who haven't you had? Present company accepted. Like that bloke.
Yeah.
Who would be your ideal person to have on?
I think Jack D, Carol Vorderman, Graham Gooch.
I haven't talked to you. I mean, I think we should carry on for another 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but no more than that. I haven't talked to you about your many quiz show appearances.
Oh.
Because you were literally properly on Countdown, right? You were,
that's good. I wore this shirt. This is why I'm wearing the shirt. I wore the shirt when I was a civilian on Countdown, a proper person. You have to audition to be on Countdown, but it's not an audition. You have to do a test, and it's literally the opposite of an audition because they're not interested in any sort of personality. They just want you to be good at the game, good enough. And I failed it the first time. You're only allowed to take it 3 times, the exam, and I got through the second time.
Is it true that if you asked to be on Countdown, you're not allowed to go on Countdown?
But I did go on it, and similar to the Latin show, I was doing a show all about words, where I tried to invent a word and get a new word into the dictionary, and my word was honk. So a word that already had one meaning, I wanted to get it in as a slang word meaning cash. So I haven't got any honk on me. So I managed to get onto Countdown, and I won the first game, but I was looking for my letters to come up. But I managed to win the first game. I beat an old lady, which is...
Yeah, good.
Oh, no, I beat her in the second round, which is awful because it meant she never got the teapot. But in the third game...
She's probably dead now.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Oh, no, she's, probably long gone now. And with an unfulfilled ambition.
Yeah.
And in the third round...
But her kids would just have thrown that teapot out.
Oh, she didn't have kids. No, she may well have had kids. She was lovely. She was lovely. And I actually thought about giving her the teapot.
Yeah.
No, I gave the teapot to my mum. But in the third round, the letters for H-O-N-K came up.
Right.
And I saw a better word, but I said, I've got a four-letter word, honk, meaning money.
Yeah.
And Vorderman, it was her final series, said, yeah, that's... Oh, no, it was, well, Dent, obviously, is...
Yeah.
But Dent said, yeah, that counts. So that was my proof that it got in the dictionary.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
And did you lose as a result of saying honk?
No, I lost in my fourth. I was very good at it. And it's one of my proudest things. But I'm bad at it now. You can sort of swat up on it. It's like any sport. You just do it enough, you get good at it. But no, I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to show off to Jonathan Ames because he mentioned Scrabble backstage, and I couldn't remember my best Scrabble move. It was equators across two triple words.
Oh, you remembered it now?
Yeah, but I just remembered it now.
Yeah.
Too late, isn't it? Jonathan Ames could have gone away thinking, that guy.
Yeah.
That sounds like 222 points for one.
So when I was answering my question, were you just thinking, what was my... You weren't...
No, it just suddenly popped back in.
Yeah, because you drifted... Because you just kept saying, yeah.
Sometimes I'm thinking about the next thing I have to do.
Or the previous interview.
Yeah, sometimes I think about... Sometimes I just think about the interviews. I can tell you who the bad people I've had on here are, Alex. No problem. It's... you were on Celebrity Mastermind.
A statement question.
You came second with 25 points. Fucking hell.
Well, I threw that because... Well, I didn't at all. No, Brian Moore won it against me, and he was a frightening competitor.
How many did he get?
Hundreds. No, I think 29 or something. He was
29.
He's a lawyer and a rugby player. And
29.
What did you get?
35.
35.
Came second.
Oh, my word. Brilliant. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who won?
Some cunt. Some fucking cunt.
Whoa, it's getting worse.
Antiques Roche. Hilary Kay, the antiques expert.
Oh, yeah, no, she is, yeah.
I'm over it.
I've got asked to do... you cannot tell me whether to do this or not. I don't think I want to do it. University Challenge Christmas special.
I've not done University Challenge. I wouldn't do it because it's too hard.
I think that as well.
If you only got 25 on Celebrity Mastermind, then don't do it.
All right.
The questions are a lot harder on University Challenge, even the celebrity one.
I'm not even going to respond. I'm going to presume they listen to this. I don't want to do it.
They all do. They love me, the game show people. They love me because I'm always going on about how shit they all are. Any game? Have you ever been on Tipping Point?
Do they do a comedians version?
There's a celebrity Tipping Point.
See, I'd say comedians rather than celebrity.
Okay.
No, I've not been on that. So I don't have a story about it. I mean, I was doing when I wasn't on.
Oh, the mic started cutting out.
I know.
That's George, the sound guy, telling us he wants to go home.
Don't blame him. Have you ever not been on Tipping Point?
I haven't. Never. Been, I've always not been on it.
Yeah.
I've always not been on it.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay not being on it. I met Ben Shepherd once in Buckingham Palace.
Okay.
But apart from that, I saw Benedict Cumberbatch in the toilet on the same occasion.
Okay. Do you want to hear my Ben Shepherd story?
I sat next to Greg Davis.
Oh yeah.
At dinner at Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace. Yeah.
I sat next to Greg Davis at Buckingham Palace.
Do you want me to join in?
No.
Okay.
You met Ben Shepherd?
No, I watched Goals on Sunday for the first time. He presents Goals on Sunday.
No, I'm not aware. I'm only aware of his Tipping Point work.
He also presents Goals on Sunday. Just call it Goals. Same with Deal or No Deal. Just call it Deal. Question mark. It's either deal, question mark, yes or no.
Yeah.
The alternative to deal is no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see what I mean. Yeah.
Deal. Well, it's been lovely having you on. I've been trying to get you on.
So soon?
Yeah. And, I think we could go on. Got a new emergency question out of it. So,
Brilliant,
that's something.
Yeah, I've got a couple of new tasks. The field task.
Field the stone task. The naming the celebrities, the people, the contestants on... the
previous contestants
on Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Naming the Taskmaster, that could be one. Can you name the Taskmaster and his assistant?
Oh, they've got the sounds completely now. No, thank you for having me, Richard.
No, thanks so much for coming on. Good luck in the race to the top that you obviously are going to lose because my listeners are going to buy...
Oh, the book race.
Emergency questions rather than Taskmaster. Who cheer if you think Emergency Questions is best? Cheer if you think Taskmaster is best.
There's more in the end. Yeah. There was more of them.
If you've read both books all the way through, can you cheer? All right, I think that's fair. You're currently, I think, 99 in the Amazon chart as we. Before I went on, I'm 3,000. My book's not out yet. 3,000.
Oh, that's all right.
Somewhere 3,000, 4,000-ish at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm hoping Waterstones Piccadilly will stock my book and not just send me up and down the fucking stairs if I go in to try and buy it.
I think I want your book to sell more. I think it feels like you do need it. Yeah. Just psychologically.
I'm gonna take that book to America and get Reggie Watts to read it.
Yeah. Have you had him on this?
No.
Oh, he'd be great on this.
Yeah, he would be good. Yeah. Doesn't he live in America? Only some of the time.
Yeah, sometimes he
comes over here.
Your last guy lives in America.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I live in Cheshire.
Do you?
Yeah. It's on the tube. So, you know what it is? It's in Zone 9.
Is it?
It's the furthest. Yeah, no one knows that exists, and it's the furthest stop from Charing Cross.
Wow.
But tonight I'm getting an Uber.
I'm glad to give you that lifestyle. That's the kind of lifestyle. If you work hard at school, kids, and then don't do any exams and become a comedian or funny celebrity of some kind. They want to leave,
and they're trying to work out whether...
We're going to go. We're stopping. We're stopping. You just made the podcast longer by asking that question. If you didn't shut up,
I think they might want to...
He'd be gone now and you could be going home.
Do you want to go on the Uber to Chesham? Is that what you're chatting about? Because genuinely, if anyone...
Is anyone in from Chesham? Anyone in from the Hitchin area? Hitchin? St Albans? I'm not going through St Albans. No. You turned me away. I was going to live there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, will you please give a massive round of applause for Tiny Alex Horne? He's tiny. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that podcast. If you did, why not pop out to your shop or go to gofasterstripe.com and buy Emergency Questions. It's a brilliant book for all the family, even if they do not know who I am. I promise you they'll enjoy it. And please support our sponsors, Beer 52, by heading to beer52.com/RHLSTP, and you can get 8 free beers and just pay £2.95 package and posting. That's not too bad, is it? Terms and conditions apply. I expect they usually do. So, but it's lots of fun. Thank you very much for having us. We're enjoying doing these again for you. Goodbye. How'd you like them sky potatoes?